Mic check, it's time for In the Trenches. Bucs battles, tales from the benches. No fluff, straight edge defenses. Buccaneer talk, breaking down the fences. Stay tuned, the orgasms in your dome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to In the Trenches. It's been a while, but it's been on purpose. Preseason just went by, and listen, I could have been on here doing a podcast every week talking about how they look in preseason or how they look in training camp, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter, okay? You can evaluate talent as you go, but nothing drives me crazier than somebody evaluating somebody in preseason and telling me how good they're going to be. It doesn't work that way. Nobody has that kind of vision, all right? So looking at preseason saying, I listen to sports radio still. I heard somebody the other day predict the Buccaneers are going to be top 15 in rushing. Now, that's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. What would make you think the Buccaneers are going to be top 15 in rushing when they've been dead last 2 straight years? Dead last, 32 straight years, and you're just going to pencil them in for top 15. If you're a Buccaneer fan, there's one thing that you do know. For the last 20 years, we've been talking about running the football, and we can't do it. Running the football is an attitude, all right? And we don't have the attitude yet. You don't go from 32 to 12 without a grace period. It doesn't work that way. In order for the Buccaneers to become a good rushing football team, they got to rush the football in the regular season. You know what's going to happen in the first game against the Commanders? If they run the ball the first 4 times and it doesn't go well, they're going to abandon the run, just like they've been doing the last forever. So just to pencil the Buccaneers as a top-notch running football team, no, it doesn't work that way. It takes way more than that. In order to go through a metamorphosis in football, you got to go through some failure. In order to be top 12 in running the football, you have to run the football. When's the last time the Bucs ran the ball 3 times in a row? I bet you look at their film, they haven't run the ball 3 times in a row ever, or since Ian Beckles played in the 90s. And that's true. The Bucs just don't run the football. So for me to sit back and tell you what I think about what's going to happen, I find to be a waste of time, okay? It's entertainment, I get it. But what I am seeing is Liam Cohen, who supposedly is the mastermind, came from the Rams, and McVay. If McVay brings him in, you got to figure he has a pretty darn good mind. I'll be honest with you. Last year with Dave Canales, I wasn't overly impressed. I thought Baker Mayfield was a difference last year. I really did. Dave Canales, I didn't think he called any innovative plays. Kept on hearing about we're going to start running the ball, but we never really did it. I don't know why anybody would come grab him after 1 year, because I thought Baker Mayfield was the difference. I didn't see a lot of innovation in Canales, and we're going to need that in Liam Cohen, our new offensive coordinator, in order to be a good running football team. How many teams just line up and run the football anymore? Off the top of my head, the Steelers don't even really do that anymore. Nobody really lines up and just runs the ball down your throat. Actually, I'm wrong. You know who does that? The Lions. The Lions are probably the only team that will run the ball. They're going to run the ball 40 times a game or maybe 30 times a game. The Buccaneers are not that. I like what I'm hearing about our offensive coordinator from the players. The players are saying there's some innovation there. The players are saying how he has that deep offensive mind. I don't think I heard it as much with Canales. And listen, everybody's going to say, well, Rachaad White's going to have a great year, and this new kid, Bucky Irving, is going to have a great year. The name of this podcast is In the Trenches, all right? I'm actually coaching for Chamberlain High School. I'm the offensive line and defensive line coach. And this is what I tell my players every single day. I sit them down and I say, the guys behind us don't matter. If we play well, we win. And that's why I call this podcast In the Trenches. Rachaad White and Bucky Irving ain't shit without that offensive line. And that's all I'm going to say. They're nothing. How many running backs in the NFL are difference makers other than Christian McCaffrey? Can't think of any. You're about as good as your offensive line. Christian McCaffrey will figure out a way to get his 150 yards regardless. There ain't nobody else in the league that's that. Nobody else. So it comes down to the offensive line. So Offensive line-wise, we got a rookie in there at center, at Graham Barton. Cody Mauch, who's in his second year. Look, I know a little bit about being a second-year guard, okay? I started 16 games my rookie year. Did I play well? I probably played well for a rookie. I didn't play well for an NFL football player. Cody Mauch did the same thing last year. Is he going to be better this year? Yes, he is, 100%. I probably improved 40% from my first year to my second year. Here's the problem. Cody Mauch was rated dead last in Pro Football Focus for guards in the run game. Dead last. I mean, there's 2 guards on every team. That's 64 guards and some injuries. You're dead last in run. So, once again, to just pencil in the Buccaneers as a running football team is a lot for me. Then it comes to Baker Mayfield. I thought Baker Mayfield unequivocally was the MVP of the team last year, period, okay? Do we know that's going to be the Baker? Is that, okay, so Patrick Mahomes has a great year this year. Is it going to be out of sorts? Last year was a little out of sorts for Baker. That's not the way Baker normally plays. I'm not saying he's not going to play like that this year, but can you pencil it in? That's hard. Because just a year before, he wasn't that great. That being said, I love the fact that the Buccaneers brought him back. But now it's Baker Mayfield making $30 million and not Baker Mayfield making $4 million. That's a different equation. Baker Mayfield making $4 million, now we can put money elsewhere. Baker Mayfield making $30 million, now we have to lose some players. So if you talk about the expectations of this year, listen, last year they made the playoffs. Last year they won a game against the Eagles. Last year they were tied with the Lions going into the fourth quarter, I believe. So their expectations have got to be through the roof. I would hope Todd Bowles is saying that to them. Playoff or bust, and we should and can get anywhere we want and as far as we want. So it comes down to trenches. Kalijah Kancey should be 30% better than he was last year. I thought he was great last year. Other than that, Vita Vea, it's time for you to play 16 games. And JTS, time for you to show up. Joe Tryon-Trienka, I'll use his whole name. JTS is easier because you don't make no plays, so I want to use his whole name. But JTS needs to do something. Shaq Barrett's gone, although he's saying he would come back. One day you may see Shaq Barrett back. JTS, do something. Anything. Tired of hearing what kind of athlete you are. So listen, this week is a regular season. The Washington Commanders, and if you're a Buccaneer fan, in your head, I think you got to be thinking 11-6, okay? 11-6, I think everything unfolds the right way. Still not easy. If you're thinking 11-6, and that's what I'm thinking you got to beat the Commanders. There's no way you can lose the Commanders and go 11-6 because you have in division, which is not going to be too hard. You got the Dolphins, you got the Eagles, you got the Niners, you got the Ravens. You got a lot of teams that are tough games that they're going to come in here or play at home and expect to beat the Buccaneers. So to go 11-6, that's easy to pencil somebody at 11-6, but it's very, very hard to go 11-6 in football, period. So listen, I'm going to do these podcasts every single week. Next week, we're going to have a lot more to talk about. I sit back and I watch film more than anybody. Like I said, I'm coaching Chamberlain. I don't know if I haven't watched the Chamberlain last game more than 14 times already. And our upcoming Cardinal Mooney, who's got a good football team, I probably watched their tape 10 times. So I'm a little obsessed with watching tape. I know how important it is. So you could tell me somebody's good, but after I watch film, I know the difference because I've been there and I've done that. So that's kind of the making of In the Trenches. I tell you what I see. It ain't going to be fluffy like sports radio because I don't do that. And it's going to be real. I'm a Buccaneer fan through and through. I bleed orange, but I'm about as real as can be. If anybody remembers me on the sports radio, I don't BS. I don't care what your name is. If you play poorly, I'm going to say that. But every week we're going to be coming back, and it's In the Trenches once again. It's a Buccaneer season, and last year, if you remember the tone wasn't great. We had off the trash heap, Baker Mayfield not knowing what we had. It looked like Todd Bowles is dead man, walking, and look what happens after that. It all turns out well. Everybody gets paid, and we're optimistic about this year. So let's hope the year turns out well. Liam Cohen, you got to do your thing, And listen, Todd Bowles is defense in good hands with Todd Bowles. So I feel good about this year, but let's figure out a way to get this first win, definitely. Appreciate everybody listening in. We'll be here every single week. Have a wonderful week, and please be safe. Peace out.
Facts on facts. Flavor in your ear, Buccaneer goss. Straight fire, no loss. Reppin' Tampa boss. In the trenches, feel the power toss. Strap in tight, feel the verbal sauce. Podcast kings bringing all the heat.